Hey, welcome to the channel, guys. If you've just stumbled across me and the trike is what brought you here, don't despair. There is more videos coming up on that at a later date. At the moment, we're just faffing around with the lorry because we've got to get the lorry out, manoeuvre it about because we can't get the trike out to the front. And we've had a lot of problems with it, which you'll see in the video. We are now ready, or as ready as we're going to be, to do a reverse on this, but I'm afraid I've lost my confidence a little bit. I can get the lorry out, I just ain't sure I'm going to be able to get it in. I mean, that's just daft, isn't it? You buy a lorry and you can't drive it. So yeah, I'm waiting for a mate or two to get in touch and then we'll shift it in. So if you've come here for the trike build, don't despair, there is another video coming, as I explain at the end, but this one is about the truck. Cue the intro. Welcome, guys, welcome to another very short edition of the motorhome. Yeah, you heard it, motorhome. I've actually managed to force myself to do something, and I tell you now, it has been a journey and a half just in the last 2 days. So this is what happened. Let me explain. You'll see all of that stripped. I came out here yesterday. How do I put it? I came out here yesterday, I put the key in, turned, and I got a little bloop, bloop, bloop. That was it, that was all I got. I pulled the key out, starter motor was still running. So I'm thinking, Jesus, what's going on here? If this thing suddenly fires up with a starter motor, that's it, I'm screwed, because I'm against the wall and I can't drop the cab. This position the lorry has been in, it's been a nuisance from day one, right? So, late last night, hang on, bear with me. Pulled the old key unit out and already unlocked. And I pulled it apart, as you can see. There it is. So I came to the conclusion that this was busted inside. Nothing wrong with it. I say that because I came back today from the scrapyard with a new one, and I plugged it in and I turned the key and had a conversation with the scrapyard owner about scrapping this damn thing. Literally had that conversation, I'm not joking you, because I am that fed up of it, and that's depressing me enough and making I'm not getting sleep over it, let's put it like that. But that's another story for another day, just so bear with me. So anyway, I plugged the new one in, I plugged the battery back on, put the key in, I turn it, boop, 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 and that's all I got again. Turned the key off, pulled the key out, starter motor's still spinning. What in hell's name is going on with this damn thing? I rang the scrapyard up. Quite literally rang the scrapyard up, spoke to the scrapyard owner who knows about these things. And we both came to the same conclusion that maybe the solenoid on the starter motor was on its way out. That was the conclusion we came to. But then I heard somebody shout in the background, check the fuse box under the bonnet and play around with all of the plugs and stuff. So that's what I did. I pulled all the plugs out. I put all the and I didn't put them back in actually. Turned the key, and the starter motor, when the key came out, was still spinning. So I plugged them all back in. I then came to the front of the fuse box, which, if you can see it, I don't know if you can, down there somewhere. I pulled, actually we'll wander around there if I haven't locked it. I pulled the two black relays out, quite literally. Switched them over. There, look. That one and that one. That one was there, that one was there. Although I'm not sure where that one's meant to be. It could have been there actually. I've got to go down the yard and photograph another one of these because I don't know where that goes. And the reason why I say that, and I'll explain that one in a little bit. So anyway, I put that relay in. I switch them over. I then come round to the other side, as we are doing now. This poxy lorry, I tell you. And I turn the key. And I got the same thing again, but this time the ignition shut off the starter motor. Wow, we're getting somewhere. Right, so the next job. Now we've got to get some charging the batteries. I've spent 2 days charging them. with no success whatsoever. I've got another battery that I had down here that we spoke about in the previous video. So I took one of the other batteries out that I think is dead, quite literally, and I put the big one in, and I got a BMW starting lead and joined that onto the two batteries, and I came in here and do you remember in the previous video I said the engine ran away on me? So I turned the key and the lorry started up on one revolution of the starter motor, and it didn't over rev. It just started up like a normal vehicle. A bit smoky, but it just started up. What in hell's name is going on with this poxy thing? It's driving me nuts, this lorry. So, after having a conversation with the scrapyard owner today, he seems to be under the impression that this old lorry can do about 25 to the gallon. That's what he thinks they do. I've got no reason to dispute that. He knows his business. He does lorries for a living. That's what he does. So I thought that was a bit generous. I was expecting more 18 myself, but he says 25. So I might just be able to cope with that. And I said, well, what about cooking oil, biodiesel? I said, can these run on that? It's a mechanical pump. And I said, yes, it is a mechanical pump. He said, as long as you drain that out when you lay it up, because the water content in that oil will cause that pump to rust up and seize up. So I've come up with a little bit of a plan. What I might do when I'm using this in the summer, I might pour a load of bloody cooking oil in the damn thing, and I might cheat it a little bit. And come winter time, we'll replace the fuel filter and we'll drain out all of the fuel out of the tank, pump it all out, put about 50 quid's worth of fresh diesel in, and then run it round the block a couple of times to dilute what oil is left in the system. And then we can layer up. And as long as we keep running this thing over the winter months, like once a month, we start it up, we drive it out, I think this thing will be fine. So it does look like we might be back on schedule again, but we do have another problem, but it could be that relay. Now I'll go back outside. This relay, I mentioned about putting it in the wrong place. That one has me confused. I don't know where it's meant to be, so I need to photograph it because I don't want to put it somewhere and blow something up. I think that might be the controller for my dashboard. Either that or I haven't put my plugs in properly. I'm just not sure which of the two at the moment. Because my stop light is on, my air brakes are not working, my fuel gauge is not working, well, it wouldn't work because I'm not moving, and all of those over there, rev counter is not working. Actually, that is the rev counter, that ain't working. None of them are working, nothing's working, and the battery light is on. Anyone who has a Midland who knows the wiring on this thing, because every single wire on this lorry is white, separately numbered, and most of the time the numbers rub off, please, please, please let me know. This is the socket box. It's not a fuse box. This is where all the sockets go. It's a flipping nightmare under here. And I think I've got them all back in. So it's got to be a relay, isn't it? Yeah, they're all in. There's not one of them out. Apparently water runs in behind it and gets into the sockets and corrodes all the connections. This is one of the things the Midlands suffer with. A pain in the butt. And because I'm against the wall here, I can't do the job properly. So we've got to turn this around again, and well, we spun it around because the neighbour was not happy at looking at the back end of this thing. But I'm afraid it's tough shit really, because I can't work on it like this at all. So the back end is going to go against the wall during the week. I've just got to get somebody down here to drive it back in, because I ain't got the confidence to do it. I've lost my mojo on that a little bit. So yeah, that is the update on this stupid machine that's absolutely infuriating me at the moment. So I've got the batteries on charge. Not that they need to be, there's enough power to turn this thing over, but I'm going to come out here later on, I'm going to get that unit off, get the steering wheel off, because I need to replace this indicator cluster. I think that's the indicator. Yeah, it is, because that's your washers. Because that has also been playing up for a while. We'll photograph and get a relay from the yard tomorrow and replace that knackered one. And then we'll put the battery back on and we'll start up again and see if the alternator light is coming on. I can't for the life of me figure out what's going on, because there is nothing else on this that I've touched other than these two plugs here, which I put back on after, and that relay over there, and the sockets at the back over there. I could have dodgy sockets, so I may have to WD them all up and find a way of cleaning the terminals in case water has found its way in there, which is possible. So there you go, guys and girls. That is where we are at the moment with this horrible lorry. Utter frustration. Now, the trike is finished, but I haven't put the video up yet because I am waiting for a replacement ECU for it. As soon as that ECU has come in, and assuming this thing is going to blinking run, another problem, then we will put that video out, and then in 2 weeks time roughly we will we'll get this thing booked in for an MOT. I'll tow it down if I have to. I'll have to have a word with a very good friend of mine who's got a tow and dolly, because I aren't ready to insure it yet because I ain't got logbook registered as a trike, so apparently I can get this process done without insuring it, so they reckon, but this is DVLA I spoke to, but who knows. So that's the situation with that now. Feeling a little bit more positive about this now. Anyway, I'm off to the yard again. Just took the steering wheel off. I had to make a tool for this. As crude as it is, it works. So I'm taking all this little lot down now. I'm going to get some steering wheels off because I need to replace. I'm only on an assumption that this is faulty. It could just be random plugs because these things suffer with it. But indicators work only when they want to. I've also got a problem with the dash as well that may not be related to that relay that I was speaking about yesterday, so I may have to pull all of this apart, and I think I'm going to have to WD all the sockets because I think they're just playing up everywhere. This has been sitting for such a long while. I think residue's got in. So yeah, we're going to replace that indicator unit anyway, and then I can put all plastics back after I've investigated why I've lost all my dials. Every single one of them's gone, and I haven't a clue why. It has actually happened before as well, before I played with that relay a few months back. There was nothing there, and if memory serves I banged the dash and it all come back on again, so there is a power lead in there somewhere, I think, that's causing that problem. So I'm off to the yard and it'll be instantaneous when I get back for you. Okay guys, I've replaced the indicator column, I've replaced the ignition barrel, of which both I didn't need to do. What I did need to do, or do need to do, is the actual gauge unit has got loads of dry solders. It has got loads of dry solders inside the circuitry. I've soldered a couple of them up, but I think, looking at some of the brown patches, and I'll show you the board in a minute, I think it's already destroyed. I haven't plugged it all back together yet to find out, and to be honest with you, I think if I can't get the indicator, or whatever you call it, on the dash working, then I don't think we're going to bother. I just think I might go down the yard again tomorrow and craze them and get another one. That's what I think is wrong. I found two circuits that I just lightly touched and they were loose. I've since resoldered them back on, but it hasn't made an iota of difference other than the indicator light, which is hidden inside that, was giving a little tiny flicker on one of the indications. Now here's the other daft thing. Why I say I didn't need to replace that is because the indicators were always working. You see what I mean? I didn't check to find out. I assumed because nothing was on the dash that it wasn't doing anything. It is. She's also starting on the button at the moment, but I have also noticed that if I leave the ignition on and leave the solenoid open and then turn the engine, it is a bit of a struggle. I don't quite know what's going on there. At the moment it's behaving one's self. This poxy lorry. And as you can see, look, every single wire is white with numbers and letters and whatnot, it doesn't make it very easy to fix this. This is wired up like a blinking aircraft, like a Cessna 310. So yeah, I don't envy Jimmy with his Save the 310 project one little bit, if he's got to go through wires of all the same ratty colour. Nuts, it really is. So tomorrow morning I will go back down the yard. Oh, they're going to love me. And attempt to get a dash fascia from another vehicle. Okay, remember I was talking about dashboards yesterday. So this is out of my truck. You can see the discoloration there, and I've had to scratch back some of the resin in order to resolder them back down. But I still have no rev counter and no indicator, but I do have a slight beep coming out of that buzzer. But as those, you can see the scorching around there. They get hot and they burn out. So I've got 3 circuits on here that I know of that are torn up. You've got that one, you got that resistor there, I think is what it is, and those 2 there are not in the greatest of condition. So I went down the yard this morning. Oh blimey, that one hit me hard. I only found 1 dash in there which was damaged. I had a whopping great crack, and they're £170 normally. He let me have that one for 100. I plug it in and there's nothing coming out of it at all. And then I opened it up and I had a look. Oh my god. So the Midlands, the Renault Midlands, do suffer with damage, overheating. They do suffer with it. The electrics are terrible. So I'm putting this up so you are all aware, and when I take this back, I'm going to screw it all back together, I don't want him thinking that I have pulled anything apart. So I'm just doing this for reference, so they know, because I know they're watching. I think the young lad watches. So for reference, my friend, I haven't touched it, and sorry, I don't want this. So I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to be really stupid. I'm going to ring him up later on, and when I say to him I need a dash cluster from another truck, so when one comes in that's in full working order, I'm prepared to go to 200 quid for it. So there you go. That's the situation I am with at the moment. I've had to admit defeat on this for the time being, at least. Pretty much everything is working, as you can see. I just don't have indicators or a rev counter. The oil light works, the temperature works, the fuel level works, the air brake gauge works, although I will admit that is a bit sleepy. I don't think they're giving an accurate read, and I think they're demonstrating below their level. So yeah, I'll have to take the old one back, because I'm not paying 100 quid for something that don't work. I mean, who in their right mind would? So we've got to bolt the steering wheel back on. I'm not going to put the plastics back in just yet, because we're not really done in here yet. And we're pretty much going to move on to the next thing, which will be a separate video. So this one was only ever meant to be a short video to fill in for the ones that I didn't put out. Now the trike, if you're here for the trike, don't despair. I am actually waiting for a new TCM, I think that's what it was, TDI, oh I don't know what the hell they call them. Basically an ECU. I'm waiting for another one of those to come through, and unfortunately this is going to take another 2 more weeks, because it's overseas, the one I ordered, and it's brand new. Brand new is about 500-600 quid. I got quoted, and they're discontinued now, and I found a company that does aftermarket versions of that with all of the little doobies removed. So no rev limiter, a little bit of advancement on the timer. That should go quite well, that trike, if that is the problem. So we will see, won't we? So there you go, that is it for this edition. It's a very short and sweet one and to the point. Bye.